Hi, welcome in Sunday, November 30th, 2025. Welcome to this live study group session. I'm your host, Gerardo G. This is our Sunday study group where we analyze gold, analyze strategies. Evening for you, David. Welcome in. Yeah. And just today we're going to be analyzing the updates, the completed updates for the SMT indicator, just to kind of finalize it, lock it in, and we can move forward to working on Jibo. And then yeah, just kind of plan for the new year. There's going to be about 2.5 weeks, maybe the first 3 weeks. I know for a fact. Let me see. Let me check my calendar. December, the charts will still move. However, I believe we kind of like really go down in volume. Yes, I think the first 3 weeks of December will be moving okay. From the first all the way to the 19th. So that's 15 days of trading. After that week, once we're in that week of Christmas, the week after that, and the first week of January, I think things are going to be very, 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 very slow. And then on the 12th, I think that's when the January 12th, I believe I checked the news. That's whenever, we have our NFP. Our NFP is usually the first Friday of the month, right? And I think it's going to be the 15th. So yeah, it's that week of January 12th when things get the ball moving. So for December, right, we will be um, having about 3 more weeks of trading. Allows us to kind of get a feel for the updates and work on other stuff. I will be focusing on some educational courses through the COC Live community. Just a quick update, right? I know I was um, renegotiating, I guess you could say, my status and contract with the COC Life for the new year. And for those of you that were already subscribed, I was communicating with you guys like, hey, FYI, November may be a shaky month for me. But moving forward, I've had decided to just go ahead and push through with the Yes community. And COC Life. And the reason being, right, is just we're going to be able to add this product to the packages, right? And they're allowing me to kind of create a starter course at a cost to where it's beneficial for people to kind of get started. Give people a chance to learn how to trade at a reasonable cost level. So a few things that that I wanted to do on my own, they're gonna be able to do it inside. So I'm excited for that, and I think the using the SMT system will be very, very valuable, guys. I mean, it's just I know some of you guys have messaged me that the system has been working very well for you guys, and I think for the most part, it's kind of like you can able to see the market, right? There's a lot of rules and strategies that we can write. I mean, that we can do, for trading. But if I can if I can create in writing the strategy, the rules to follow the strategy, that means it's really, really simple to learn, right? Really simple to learn. So I'm excited for that. But let's go ahead and kick it off. As always, right, these calls are for educational purposes only. And in trade idea speculation, it is just that. Let's do take a quick look at gold to see kind of how it did. Actually, no, we'll go ahead and start right with S&T, and then we'll recap gold. So there is an update, right? You guys have not gotten the update yet. You guys have the invite only script S&T 6 with you guys. The update is a little bit different. And I'll explain those updates there, and then I'll explain the rules, how to use it. And then we'll do some back testing. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy the session. It is recorded, and you can always come back to this and go to yeah. So the beta mode. So this is the one you guys have. I'll go ahead and shut that one down, and I'll put this one on. This is the one that you guys are getting. Okay. Once you get it, you should say on your back end, it should say version 6.01 November 2025. Okay. When you guys get the update, that's going to be what you see there. And for the most part, the boxes are there, the midlines are there, the legends are there. Also, the 23% boxes and everything else is there as well, along with a back testing window. So let me go ahead and refresh this so you guys can see. And I also, right, I made a nice update on the SMT legend, which I think this is really beneficial. But for the most part, right, um, let me pull up my notes so you guys can have access to that. Let's see if I can. We kind of went over this on that I think Friday, but the SMT organizes the market into three simple layers: structure, momentum, and timing. These three pieces work together to filter the noise, so you can read the market with clarity, stay patient, and act decisively when the move is ready. Okay. So again, right, structure. What direction is the market going? And structure is based on the 204 flag. So the 204 flag in the bottom, the structure is bullish, right? Or color coded, whatever color you want. In this example, it's green. Momentum is the structure gaining strength or losing strength. The the momentum, that one is based on the midlines of the 52 box and the 108 box. If these lines are above the midline of the 204, then the momentum is strong. Okay, if they're below, it's strong in that direction. If they're mixed, they're mixed, which you'll see here in a second. And then timing is the time to enter, wait, or avoid the move. Timing is all about the 17 box. The market closed a little funky, so let me rewind right quick and get us a better picture. Let's see. Do something. That's fine right there. All right. So SMT components, right? So obviously we have four boxes. The four boxes are the 204 box, 108, 52, and 17. So the SMT organizes prices into four rolling boxes. Each box constantly updates as new candles form, keeping his view centered on the most meaningful part of the market, what's happening now. The smaller boxes obviously react quickly. Larger boxes anchor the bigger trend, right? So again, these boxes they're not stagnant. They're always moving. They're always updating. So it's 17 because we can only fit 17 candles inside. 52 is only 52 candles inside, and so on and so forth. So the new candlestick forms. The box shifts forward, momentum shifts, structure shifts, and everything else, right? Kind of avoids us from looking left too much. Sometimes we get married to a bias, as they like to say, and and never readjust our eyes. With the big box, the big frame is always readjusting for that, right there, right? The flags, right? Flags. This was one of the biggest updates that has helped myself and other people kind of see the market better. There's something that we always explain. I think we always had a flag on the 204, but we never had a flag on all the other ones, and it really does make a difference. It really does make a difference just knowing, obviously the same rule that it has, right? Each box has its own structure, momentum, and timing. Each box has its own midline. Okay, it's just on a different scale. So we kind of are doing an analysis on a multi-time frame analysis just with the boxes by themselves. Yeah, but each box behaves exactly the same. So for example, we'll just show you the see. We'll just focus on the small box and then the bigger box. And here he goes. All right. So for example, if we were just looking at the 204 box by itself, okay. Well, this one, right? And we just think, yeah, so it's this bullish structure because the 204 is the flag at the bottom and the structure to the top side. So it has its low, it's got its highest point, and it's got its midline, right? Well, the 17 box or every other box behaves the same way. So ideally, right, with this, because it's bullish, we got an impulse, maybe we got a correction to the midpoint, and then we carry up, right? Well, on the 17 scale, on the 17 only scale, okay, well, it's doing its own little thing here too, right? And this is the reason why it's important to analyze the bigger scales, bigger time frames. So here we got the high up here. Here's the low, and technically, right, we have to be pushed down. Well, what could happen next? Well, price will go into the midline and then maybe go lower, but it won't go lower forever because obviously we just had the big box in place. There it is. You see? So if we're waiting for price to come to the midpoint of the 204, right? We got the impulse there, and the 17 is kind of guiding us to, okay, you know what, we could get there as well by following the same movement, but just in the opposite direction. Right. But that's the important about the flags. They were always there, and just they were never visually for us to have. Yeah, but each box marked the direction with the flag placed on the oldest swing inside that range. A flag below means bullish, a flag above means bearish. Okay. Trend line. When several boxes agree in direction, a trend line connects them. So yeah, giving you a fast, clean observation of multi-time frame alignment. So what's connecting? So for example, the trend line only connects two points, right? It starts with structure. And if it has another flag that's in support, it'll connect it with that. Okay, just like that. It the trend line will never connect with 17. Okay, 17 is never in the mix with the trend line. So let me turn the trend line on here. Trend line connector, and there you have it. Okay, that's how the trend line works. And right now, right, we kind of broke this trend line momentum, or the 17 box and the 50 box are trying to do a pullback, right? But again, you see how the flag is in this color, is a neutral color, is because what the trend line is looking for is that 208, 108, and the 52 are aligned at the same time. So if I rewind one more time, let's see. Yeah, there he goes. You see here, all three are aligned, the 204, 108, and 52. However, right, um, now it's connected to 204 and 52. Okay. So it just kind of connects those two. When all three are aligned, when all three are aligned, it's 204 to 52. When 52 is not in aligned with it, it's 204 and 108. Right? Whenever 204 has no alignment with any of these, it'll be the 108 and the 52. Okay. So just FYI on that. And again, it's more green here simply because all three are in alignment, bullish. Um, Market won't go up. And then the moment the 52 gets above here, still a bullish trend line, right? But um, it just turned more neutral. On that, right quick, on the colors, you can always customize this visually how you want it. You don't have to use the same colors that I'm using, but the colors are important to understand. Let's see. This one. It's fine here. So we basically have three colors, right? We have a bullish color, a bearish color, and a neutral color. If you would like to change this, for example, to blue, the bullish color, what changes? Well, the flags change, and also the new legend up here changes in color. Also, the trend line will change in that color as well. Let's see, there it goes. Okay, trend line will change the color as well. Because of those changes, you can always also update your flag color to text to give you a better visual of it. But there it is, guys. Okay, that's kind of you work with that there. The midlines. Now moving on to the midlines. Every box also contains a midline. the balance point between buyers and sellers. So, and this is really, really important. We don't talk about it enough, but it's really, really important. So, just with the box by itself, right? Just with the box by itself, um, when price is above the midline, it's bullish control. When price is below, it's bearish control. So even though, right, even though we're still bullish, right, those little things matter if we're above or below the midline. Okay, that really does kind of help us make a decision if we're more bearish um or not. So you know how a lot of times we say, wait for price to get above the 23% to confirm. So that's kind of the things that we kind of look for. I was during the week last week, I was noticing that, let's say for example here, right? So right now we have bullish structure, and we know we're looking for buys. So you notice here how this line is green, this line is green. Well, the momentum is bullish in this scenario, right? Which I'll explain here in a second. But notice here that 17 does not have a midline. Well, the reason for it, right, is because if the where's it at? Yeah, if the color of the midline is neutral, it hides it. If I turn this on, there goes the midline. And why was it neutral? Well, because right price was below here. Obviously first of all it's bearish position, but price got below the midline, so we're in a more bearish territory. We could be bullish and price be below, right? And let's just see how it establishes itself. You hit play. So see here on the 52 though, right? Price is above, it's in the bullish scenario. Let's remove the 108 box. Okay, so take a look at price, the current price action right now. Okay, the current price action is above the 204. So what does that mean, right? We're um, price above it is bullish control. Again, the same price action is above the 52. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, for that box, same thing. There's still bullish control. And then for the 17 box, right, we're below it. So right now it's below equilibrium. So it's bearish control there. But the bigger scale is still dominant in this time frame or in this price action. And then when price gets above, there it goes. There it is. Right. So now we're in buyer's territory. This is how a signal works, right? Which we'll explain here in a second. Now in buyer's territory. Now there's more confirmation or confidence that the low of the 17 box will hold. And then from there, price can just take off and the low can protect us to go up to the top side. And there it goes. Okay. So that's one way to read things. What else about these minutes? That's important. Okay, yeah, the momentum. The momentum is tied with the midlines. Okay, the momentum box, which we'll go over in a second. But yeah, right quick, the SMT legend, right? Big update I did with this. Uh, I spent a lot of time coding on this part, and for the most part, I'm really happy where it's at now because it gives you a quick glance on how the structure is on other time frames. So structure momentum time, right? SMT. So the structure on the 2 minute is bullish. The structure on the 5 minute, which we see here, is bullish. But on the 1 hour, it's still bearish. So let's double check. So we go to the 2 minute time frame. Yeah, there it goes. 204 is bullish. Okay. And then we go to the 1 hour time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, see the SMT is still bearish. You see that there, guys? So it's a really good system to use just to kind of gauge. We had this in the very beginning, one of the very first updates. Do you guys recall that? When I first started coding this indicator, we had that in the beginning, but it was there. Let's see. Joe says, do you consider whether or not price action is at equals high when bullish? Um, oh, okay. Here, equal highs is bullish. Yeah, that's where the momentum comes in, Joe. That's where the momentum comes in, and it really does help, the our decision making. Um, you'll see more examples here, and hopefully it kind of gives you a better visual of certain things for that. Yeah, so that's the right there. Um, but yeah, the box comes down and goes from there. But again, the structure was bullish, the momentum was bullish, and here, right? Here we don't buy, right? We don't buy because the 17 is bearish. So it's actually a really, really good example, which we'll pause here, and once I get to the strategy part, I'll explain here in a minute. On that part, let's see. So yeah, then the time box. The 17 is the time box. So structure is 204. Momentum is the lines. The momentum now is is the 108 line and the 52 line. In the past, we're calling momentum 17 and 52, right? Mom and dad type of thing. But now, with this new update that we have with the 108 box, that one right there, the 17 and excuse me, the 52 and the 108 are the momentum lines. Okay. And very, very simple rule with them. And if the 52 is above the 204, this will be green. If the 108 is above the 204, it would also be green. If it's below, it's red. So that's kind of where I wrote down right here. If I'm looking for buys and then the momentum is above 204, that's good for us, right? It's good for us right there. Okay, so together these components turn market noise into clarity, helping you see direction, pressure, and timing all at once. So quick reference here on the legend, right? The structure is the direction of the market. Bullish flag, bullish if flag is below, market is pushing up. Bearish flag, that means it's above, market is pushing down. Structure will never be neutral. Okay, it's always bullish or bearish. The structure. So purpose that tells you which direction you should focus on when it comes to trading. Momentum, right? The alignment between the 108 and the 52 lines relatively to the 204 midline. So bullish momentum is, or green, when the 52 and the 108 midlines are stacked above the 204. Bearish when the 52 and the 108 are stacked below the midline, right? And neutral, obviously, midlines are mixed or not aligned. So if we have the 52 above and the 108 below, be mixed conditions. So just that's the purpose of it, to confirm the strength behind the structure direction. Now here's where the system gets a little, I wouldn't say advanced, but it starts communicating to us, right, in the timing phase. The current phases of the 17 box is really communicating to us, kind of like, red light, green light communication. So timing phases, you'll see a structure reset when we get a fresh structure shift, meaning that we were bullish and then bearish on the 204, you get a structure reset. Okay. It's basically saying the 204 trend just shifted. It's best to wait. Pullback. These pullbacks are very important. 17 moves opposite of structure, just like it's happening right now, right? Let's kind of do this right quick. All right. So you see, yeah, so pullback comes opposite of structure. I also put a complex pullback in there when both the 17 and the 52 move opposite. That means deeper entry. So pullback obviously means prepare for entries. Complex pullback is the same, but we may get a deeper retracement, deeper 61% levels, 78% levels, 17, maybe 38 and 50%. So that's what that means. Realigned, there's two types of realignments. There's a realignment that you see right here, right? Everything is perfectly going and pumping upwards. And then there's a caution one whenever 17 realigns, but 52 is above it. That's kind of where like, okay, just be cautious. We did realign, but we still got 52 above, so there may be some selling pressure from there in that scenario. And also too, right, we have a late option, right? Too many bars since realignment. Maybe price may be exhausted. Okay, so purpose to show you where the market is in the trend cycle and when to take advantage. Okay, so that's all the components, guys. Kind of just giving you a breakthrough of what each line means. Went over it pretty quickly simply because obviously you can go back to the recording. You'll have access to these notes as well. But are you guys ready to see kind of how a strategy works? How we can use this for actual action? Let me know if you are or not. We can go ahead and get some more coffee here. All right, pretty simple, pretty simple. All right. So there's two strategies, right? There's two versions of the SMT trading checklist. I created an easy mode and a more technical mode. Okay. We'll go first. We'll give you some examples here of the easy mode, and then we'll then do the technical mode afterwards. But both follow the same structure, the same logic. Identify structure, read the timing legend, and execute based on that phase. Okay. So here goes the easy mode rules, right? The checklist. Your objective is to trade only during realignment. Okay. If it's not realigned, don't do anything. So step one, right? Check structure. All right. Check structure. The and momentum. So here in this scenario, okay, we're in the 5 minute chart. The 5 minute is green. The 204 flag is below. It's buys, right? We're looking for buys here. Check the momentum lines. Are the momentum lines above 204? In this scenario is yes. Okay, so that there's more confirmation to look for buys here. Okay, and then now from here, all we have to do is ideally, guys, you want to wait for a pullback. Everything is realigned right now, bullish down here. Okay, but you want to wait for a pullback. Okay, when you're in the charts, you visually want to you want to be looking at charts during the pullback phase. If everything's realigned, right, it's a little trickier to get in, more advanced or more technical to get in. So your job is to, all right, let me wait for a pullback. So you just will create an alarm system for this or more of a better visual. And we have to wait for a pullback here. And all right, let me show you guys this example here before we do that. Actually, let's do this. Ah, there it is. Okay, so we're in the 5 minute chart. Everything's aligned. Everything's set up for us. Okay, everything is set up for us. 5 minute is bullish, where the momentum is above the 204. All right, and we're in the pullback phase. So what do we do in pullback phase? Price is retracing towards a discounted or premium level. Okay, do not enter. Let price come back to you. If this was a complex pullback, you still wait. It's a little bit more messy, but the timing clear it up for us. Okay, so here all we're doing is wait. And here's step three: execute only at realignment. So all we're doing is waiting for 17 to realign. Because we're in a regular pullback, we would get a full realignment. Okay, so let's see here. So 17 and 52 realigned. Well, 52 is already aligned, and there it is. So all we're doing is waiting for, as we get new candlesticks, we're waiting for the 17 to realign back with the 204 in the same direction. So the 204 flag is green, the 17 flag is red. We're waiting for that one to turn green again. All righty. And then, okay, You didn't have to read candles, guys. All you gotta do is read the boxes. Okay, you see here, this high is still higher than this one, therefore that's for the reason the flag is there. And now we're higher now. Okay, now we're higher now. And what are the rules, right? We're realigned. Okay, how to enter? Entry midline of the 17. So where's the midline of the 17? You're right here. All right, let's go ahead and just turn off the other two boxes. Okay. And where's our entry? Where our entry is at the midline of the 17. Stop loss in the opposite, so at the low. Okay. Our target is 2-1 based on entry to stop loss. And you just drag this thing 2-1 right there. And that's the setup, guys. That is the setup. You can, if you want, market execute because we have bullish structure, we have bullish momentum, everything's realigned. There's a high probability, right, that we may not return there and just kind of take off. Now, granted, when you do that, right, your risk to reward somewhat changes. But to follow the rules by the book, that's what you have to do. Wait for price to retrace back here, execute, and take it to the top side. Okay, let's see what happens in this scenario. Before I continue though, notice here, right? I did make it smaller on purpose, simply because I didn't want this flag to be so big. And I also I updated some coding, but that flag right now, when the price is realigned, right now it says 1726. Okay, 1726. So that means that this is a countdown. It's a timer. It'll count down, as we go. Okay. So if this one reaches 0, it will give you that late condition. Too many bars pass after realignment. Wait for the next pullback, or you can simply drop to a 2-minute time frame. So it allows us to kind of visualize like how long ago was that realignment, right? And this one is just started. It's just started. That's why it's at 26. As we continue moving forward, let's see what happens here. Okay, price keeps pumping up. I don't think this will come back to us. Okay, and here's a good example here where we still have some bars left. We can readjust the entry based on the 17, right? And kind of chase it a little bit there. But again, though, it's a little bit more tricky to do that. But again, we went too bullish, right? We couldn't make it to that one. All right, so we missed that trade. We're still realigned, but notice here how it says 17.3. Well, if this number is supposed to be 26, it's been 23 candles since last realignment. What do we need to do here? Well, we simply just wait for the next pullback. Well, it's not there yet, right? But 17.3 is just it's been too long since realigned. Still, we're very close to it. Just wait for the next pullback. Okay, so we missed that bottom trade, no problem. If we come to the market, everything's still good. And we just gotta wait for, it goes 17.0. Excuse me. 17. Oops. I was just trying to see if we can make it late, but it doesn't work. So now we get another pullback right there. Okay, another pullback there. Same thing. Everything is still aligned as we had planned. I just hit the momentum lines. Just simply don't do anything. For the beginner mode, you don't do anything until you want to be here. Okay. In pullback, you want to visually see the realignment. There it goes. We were just simply in pullback phase a few candles ago. And then there it goes, pullback phase. Now realign phase. And what do? Same thing. Execute only in realignment. Your green light is full realigned. Enter on the midline of the 17. Stop loss at the low, 2 to 1 scenario. Let's see, we get this one here. There it goes. And stop down on that one. Okay. And of course, right it goes in that direction there. I think we just talked with that one right there. So can you lose that one? Not the problem, Joe. You lose that one based on the rules there. And that's the reason why I created this easy mode so you guys can follow it. But obviously, there's a more technical mode for us to use here. And here, okay, so again, we're back in. We got two pullback phases. You see, we had one and we had a second one. And again, this sometimes happens where it realigns. It won't come back to entry, and then it'll take off. Okay, but long story short, guys, that's how simple this system would move. Hey, Dr. Trees, what is the red? Okay, what does the red 1 hour percentage? Is that the current price action? That yes. So all three times, we're keeping an eye at the same time of all three time of all structures on all these three time frames. Okay, so for example, right now I'm on the 5 minute chart. The midpoint information, as you see, it's in the middle. But when I go to the 2 minute chart, it will come up here. And if I go to the 1 hour chart, it'll come down there. So for example, let's put the test. Here you go. See? So at least when we change time frames, the text will align with that. So yeah, KG. So KG's asking, so when all time frames are lined up, that's where maybe we can hold any entries that we do on the 5 minute, because we're only trading on the 5 minute chart, right? For the most part. Right. So when everything lines up green and we get in the buy on the 5 minute, that just say, hey, maybe hold one because the 1 hour is also bullish, right? But in this scenario, the 1 hour is bearish. And in this scenario, the 1 hour is bearish. So, we would say just take your profit at those areas there. Okay. And yeah, so that's the price is going and gone. Okay, but that's the easy mode right there, guys, for us to use. Just simply follow the 17, enter under the 17, and again, though, right, it's a really good way to analyze the charts and go from there. Okay, so let me go ahead and hide these rules there and go more in the technical mode. Any other questions before I move on? The technical mode is very similar to the 17. It's just we use the pullbacks and the complex pullbacks to guide us. But for the most part, it's just the same thing, which I'll show you how we can do it.
I got a question, G.
Yes, please go ahead.
So what if you are in a trade and the flags changed directions? Like, you was in the buy, everything was in realignment, you got into the trade, and then all of a sudden it goes to the bottom, but you still in the trade.
Like 17 switches on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, in those scenarios, right? That's kind of where like
I noticed
you
that in my back testing. So
yeah, you do if it does goes against you, it's a good area. Maybe let me just close it because the pullback may come lower. And that kind of goes more. That's the important thing of understanding the technical mode, right? Um, the technical mode comes in and just kind of read it, because what's supposed to happen is you got the 17 box aligned and price just takes off and you take profit. Right. But if that 17 box is being stubborn and doesn't want to go, right, before you hit your stop loss, you could decide that, okay, I'm gonna just close out of the trade and not lose as much or break even or close partials and so forth. But yeah, so the whole plan is just, the 17 is the low or the high with the stop losses, that's where it goes from there. But yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
So what about if it expands while you in the trade? And so that means, okay, do you look at that and say, okay, I better get out of there? Or if it turns to expand it?
Yeah, for the expanding part, which will be the late one, right? I'll be the late one. Especially if it's if we're in profit, if it expanded, I mean, that's something where the 1 hour comes in, right? Where if we're buying and the 1 hour is bullish and price over expanded in your favor, because the 1 hour is also bullish, right? Those are what I'm talking about, where it can keep going because on the 1 hour time frame, that's just price flowing in the direction that we want. But for the most part, it's like these rules are for entry, right? These rules are for entry where if it's letting you know not to and try to pull back on the pullback phases, right? And it's also giving you, when to enter on the realignments. So if we're already in the trade on the realignment, and this comes too late. For the one who got in, we're in a good position because we're deep in profits, right? But for the one that's trying to get in, it's best for them to wait for the next pullback. And you'll see that you can stack up entries because if the market is making higher highs, it's going to be doing constant pullbacks, and your pullback, your original first entry will be aligned um, in favor. But let me go over here the technical mode, and let's see if I can help you answer some questions there as well. And we'll continue from there. Let's see here. I did add at the bottom of these settings, I did add a back test session window, right? If you turn it on, I think the time zone is based on NYSE time, so Eastern time. So I believe this is 7 to 11, which is the London. So if you turn that on, right, if you want to just simply back test the the New York session, you can. If you want to test the London session, you can adjust it as well, and you can kind of see, where those price actions are, and go and do that. So let's review a few with the more technical mode that I've been doing. Okay, so let's see. Let's review. Let's see. You can actually see if it was a good price action or not during that window. Let's see. Let's review here. How we look here. All right, perfect. Back on. So even for technical mode, I would still wait for a pullback. Simple. It's plain simple. But also here, so check this out. 17.3, right? So this 17 is about to expire. So I rather wait for the pullback. Okay. So whenever price gets into pullback phase, you see right there, Diana, see now we're late. 17.0. Even everything looks bullish, right? Everything looks ready to buy. And it just like is let's let's not bite on this, right? Because it's been realigned for more than 26 candlesticks already. Let's wait for the pullback in this scenario. Okay, because then you get this. All right, so to me, the technical mode is the simplest mode. Whenever we're in technical mode, excuse me, whenever we're in pullback phase, okay, all you gotta do, guys, is just simply measure the box. Okay, measure the box right here. Perfect. A regular pullback, we look for entries at the 38 and 50%. Okay. If we were in complex pullback, we look for those institutional entries below 61%. Okay. So these right here at the bottom, which color? Okay, these are complex pullbacks, entry zone. And then this is just a simple pullback, I guess you could say. right there. Okay. So here, right, bullish, what time am I on? I'm on the 2 minute charts. I didn't want to be in the 2 minute chart, but we're in the 2 minute chart. Just sit down. Okay. There it is, guys. So see, that's how we do it. So when you're in a simple pullback, you look for buys at that 38, 50% level and then enter there. Okay. Because of them, I just realized on the 2 minute chart, I'm gonna play this example and then I'm gonna go back and look for examples on the 5 minute. But let's hit play. New York Open came back to simple pullback here. So here we were simply in oh, I know what price action is this. We got into complex pullback mode. Same thing, right? It's because the 17 and the 52 are now going against the structure. But this is one thing that I heavily back tested, guys. The momentum lines are really important. And sometimes that push down against structure can make it seem like the market is going to go deeper. But if these momentum lines are above 204, it's kind of like trying to fake you out a little bit, right? Is making you think it's going to go lower, but it really isn't. And look at this. It looks aggressive to the downside, but the momentum lines are are still too bullish. There goes 17 lined up, which gives us a realign but check 52. Okay, so 52 is there. So we may get a little bit more, stroke to the downside. And, you know, regardless, there it goes. Okay. Look at that big old pump up from there. Okay. Notice that I didn't move the fib, right? Because we want to keep the fib kind of where it was at, the structure 204, right at that New York Open. Okay. But here, let me go to another example there because I thought it was the 5 minute. The 5 minutes, obviously, where we want to back test. All right, let's check this one out. Let's see if I can find a good one for us to analyze. Yeah, some of this price action is a little funky, but I want to make sure that we can find some good examples first. Man, now that I'm trying to find examples, I'm see. Oh, there's a good one here. Straightforward one right here. All right, so let's go to 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Central, my time. Okay. Everything's bullish, right? Uh, 5 minutes bullish structure. It's above the 204, and we're realigned. Okay, well, we don't want to enter when it's realigned when we first take a look at it. We want to visually see a pullback. But in this scenario, right, we can start. Actually, no, we keep going. Let it get into a pullback phase. There it is, pullback phase. Pullback phase, we take the fib and measure it. Okay. Because we're still in simple pullback phase, we look for entries around the 50 and the 61%. Technically, guys, if you want to just kind of do a buy limit, but just by itself, you can do a buy limit from anywhere between 38 and 50%, and your stop loss at the 78. And then from there, take it up to the extension or a 2-to-1. Okay. That's how you can do that without before the box is realigned. Right. But here, right, this is where you go in time frames and kind of check to see, okay, do we have any ETM candles in this scenario right here? Okay. Let's see. On that purple zone, are there any ETM candlesticks of interest? We have 3 consecutive bullish. That's not bad. We have a rally-based rally forming in that same area. Let's see. I'm only focusing what's in this little purple zone. 30 minutes. Three consecutive candles. Let's see here. Let's see quick. 20 minute nothing. Nothing on the 15. On the 5, we have a little rally base rally right here. Okay, which is good for us. And 2 minutes, now we won't go that long, but no problem. We will keep it as this. That's where the midlines also come in, right? The midlines also help our entries as well. So simple pullback, you fib it, and we look to prepare to enter anywhere around here. Okay. If we don't want to wait for realignment, you buy low at this 38 or 50% level. So let's see what price does here. Okay, price did not touch the 38% and then realigns. All right, well, again, though, realignment means that there's higher probability that price will not come back to this low anymore. So then that's kind of where we readjust ourselves, enter at the midpoint, stop loss at the low, and 2 to 1. Let's see what happens here. Just missed the entry, but again, though, right? We're taking it up there, and it goes in our favor in that direction. Again, this blue zone represents the what do you call it? The NYSE London overlap price action. All right, let's go back to this one. Let's go here at 8 o'clock. Back to this one. All right, very good. This one just recently had a structure reset, right? I believe whenever time elapsed, so it's a little bit tricky, but they work very similar to a pullback as well, right? Especially during the NYSE time. Okay, so structure reset is there at 8 o'clock in the morning. We're bearish. Okay, you feel it. Um, on this time frame, we won't know what kind of pullback it is, but again, we're not in pullback phase just yet until there. Pullback phase. Whenever you're in a structure reset, right, you're waiting for a pullback to reset the system and start over. And and there we are. Now we're good to go, right? We're good to go here. Pullback mode. Anywhere around 38 and 50% is a good area to start selling. Okay. And with the stop loss at the 78%. Okay, this is before realignment, right? Before realignment occurs. Stop loss there. And then you can take it to a 2 to 1 or to the extensions. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, good. Notice here that we realigned. We probably got in on that one at the 50%, but then price with that big drop that just occurred. This one here, everything realigned back bearish. Here goes the little 17 box. We got the high entry, the sell high entry, and then we can get the confirm entry with the 17 realignment right there. Let me, this one just took off. And boom. Let's see here. Can we just get in on realignment opposed to waiting for the pullback? You can as well. I mean, if things realigned already and it's moving forward, you can absolutely you can. That's the reason why the structural momentum and timing gives us confirmation, right? On like we could potentially hold this one. We may got in early, but is more favored to continue going downwards. And yes, you can on there, and price just moves. But again, that kind of comes back to where like what is your trading plan and rules go? This system is just kind of letting us know that hey, you're in the right direction. Find a way to take advantage of it. If it's a pullback, it's only temporary. You're in the right direction. You just didn't get in at the right time, right? Or it also lets you know when you're really, really wrong, right? It's like if you're trying to buy low, let's say, for example, let's say we didn't have the indicator. And you see this last down before up, deep discounted level right there. Now, you know what, guys? That's a good play. We got equal highs up here. Okay, liquidity's up there, etc. If you fib this right here, Look at that. 78% institutional level. There's no way this trade loses, right? You take it back up to the highs. I mean, for those of you guys who know this strategy or this type of markup, that's a beautiful markup right there, guys. Right? Last down before up, equal highs and targets. And then price gets into that area. All right, good. You got what you wanted. Look at that. We're geniuses, right? We're in profit. A beautiful entry. But what does momentum actually say? We're entering a, what do you call it? It's a counter trade. Well, technically it's not, technically we're still bullish here, right? But that's the importance of understanding when this box will shift because look, the 204 frame, it's on the edge. And now it just shifted bearish, excuse me. Now the structure is bearish, momentum is bearish, timing is bearish. This is just a pullback. So if you were buying on this and you go into drawdown and then you're like, oh man, I know I'm right. I've seen this before. Momentum is saying, get out. Get out of this trade. Get out. Well, you see? So that's kind of like the purpose of it as well. Let's erase this. Man, this time is flying by. Today's already 8:20. Let me show you guys what's been the best setup that I've seen all week long. Even on the Thursday's price action, the funky one that we had, during um, the actual Thursday, we were in bearish structure. Okay, so playing the sells is not bad. We kind of marked up some charts, but it wasn't the best to enter. But as the day carried forward, this is Thursday still. Ignore it. See how we went back bullish here? Bullish, we're in pullback phase already. You fib, low to high. You can enter anywhere between 50, 61%. And then, obviously we're going to get some realignments. But long story short, right, price just simply held its structure from here. It just pumped up. There we go. There it goes. Very straightforward. There was a couple of moves that, oh yeah, this one was a really, really good one. There it is. Structure just reset because of this push up. It wasn't a bearish mode, a bearish scenario. It just reset, so we're waiting for a pullback, right? And oh yeah, so again, remember the structural reset is very, very similar to a pullback. Okay, where once it's there, you can fib this and look for entry around the 38 and 50%. And if you see an ETM candlestick in the mix of things, you can use that as confirmation to consider the entry right there. Long position right there. We can put a stop loss in this scenario, maybe at 61%. And then we take it up to, the extension or 2 to 1. Turn back the indicator back on, and there it is. Okay. And you hit play. Now it entered to a pullback phase, but there it goes. Okay. Let's go back here. Let's kind of back test the simple mode, right? Here we are waiting for a pullback. There it is. We got it. And how do we enter? We already entered on the technical mode, right? Right here, we're in already from the technical mode. This is how you can stack up some more entries. Price is in the pullback phase. Let price realign. Right there, it realigned. Okay. And where do we enter? Well, you enter at the midline. Stop loss at the low. 2 to 1 in this scenario. Okay. Here, price almost touches it. And there it goes. David said, did more backtest in the 5 minute and consistency, more wins on getting in a realignment than market execution. That's the thing that I'm working on, David. How to do an alarm system on this, and to better so we can get that. I mean, that's what I'm working on, how to set an alarm system for that. In this example right here, um, it never came back to this entry, right? It took off. And the midline is being stretched to the top side. Well, again, right, we always said, right, either market comes back to equilibrium, which is the midline, or equilibrium goes back to price, right? So here that entry is not there. So see how the midline is going up? And let's see here. Nope, it did it. There it goes, right here. That could have been an entry right there. But again, though, right, those are hard, those are a little bit harder to catch simply because the market is moving. We had the entry there, stop loss, and you go to the top side. But this is kind of what I see the future of this, David, and everybody else. It could be in the very future. We simply develop an app that we don't even look at a chart. We just have this right here, right? And instead of looking at charts, the system always notifies us when it's in pullback phase, right? And then we go to that chart and go to the 5 minute. Like, okay, structure is bullish, momentum is bullish. And I'll just monitor the chart during the pullback phase. And there we go. Without even looking at charts, right? I'll get look at read this little legend and it'll tell us, okay, I think we can enter a trade. So imagine like we're like this. This is what we're looking for when the price is like this. This is like the prime setup right there. I did code an alarm system in there, Enrico, but I don't think it's 100% ready on this part just yet. But and that's the reason why I need a lot of feedback from you guys, okay? Because obviously I can only think so far ahead. Um, but your guys' ideas will come easier. So again, that's really good, right? Get an alarm system whenever we're in pullback phase. I think I took it out. Yeah, it's coded in one of them that I had in the past but yeah, I can see if I can code that. But yeah, let me see some more examples here. Oh, and again, let's tie in the Fibo, the Jibo here in this scenario. Okay, so the Jibo, right, the automation system, whatever you just saw, it's programmed in that fashion. Okay, it's programmed to look for a pullback, and it's programmed to when it gets realigned, it'll give you that signal automatically. So we're 5 minute above pullback phase. There it goes. You see, it gives you the entry right at the midpoint, the stop loss, and the take profit levels all automatically. Okay. Again, right, these signals are protected because it needs to be validated as well, right? It needs to be a minimum of 25 pip stop loss or 120 from midline to stop loss, and it'll give you a signal. Okay. And there goes your entry, there goes your stop loss, there goes your take profit. You play, just missed it like we mentioned, right? And there it goes. Again, there's still some back testing to do. All these blue ones, they actually hit take profit. On the black ones, they did not. But as I back test this more and more, I mean, it's giving us more wins than losses. That's where kind of also the manual, the manual eye comes in. Because again, though, these should not have been losses, right? These right here above, let's take a quick back test on them. These right here, see, we're in pullback phase. So whenever we're in pullback phase, everything resets. Everything resets. And now it's looking for realignments. Automatically, there it goes. Realigned. And I don't think this one, I think it just takes off. See, it just takes off to take profit without giving it a proper pullback. It will not give you any more signals until it resets to a pullback. And then from there, once it realigns again, it'll give you another signal right there. This one, see, how this one technically lost, but we shouldn't have lost that trade simply because everything is so bullish, right? It's programmed to give you the stop loss at the low once it realigns. Like right there, right? Oh, wrong one, excuse me. Right here, okay? See, it's programmed to give the stop loss at the low, but again, everything is bullish, right? The 17 box is a safe box to put a stop loss on, a very tight stop loss. But again, though, we can use our better judgment and just kind of see we're definitely more bullish than bearish. But there it goes. Okay. And go back up. Good example right here. Right here, it did not give us we did get a pullback here, I believe. Right there. See, we got an we got a pullback, but we didn't get a signal, right? And why didn't we get a signal? Well, because the box was too small, too narrow. I believe if I turn on the raw signals on every turn, gross. Let's see, realignment. Yes, you can set a stop order as well. Yes, absolutely. There it goes. Yeah, realign, but it didn't give me. Oh, I guess it didn't realign. Yeah, but see, the range was so small that I didn't even consider it anymore. Okay. All right, let's let it clear up a little bit more. Pullback phase, buy. This one, the stop loss got hit. But again, everything was so bullish, right? That things like that happen. Is you want to see an indicator get stopped out, but in the right direction, right? Just sometimes the coding is so narrow that it gives you that. But let me show you guys this right quick. Is it? I believe so. Yes. Again, these will work on higher time frame as well. Obviously, you want to give yourself some, more room for the stop loss. simply because the 17 box needs a lot more space, and this will be the things to code. It would also work on any other pair as well. But again, we do have to readjust on the GBO, right? We got to readjust the pip validation. Okay, because 25 pips for gold may work, but it may not work for Euro USD on the 5 minute chart. But it may work on Euro USD on an hour chart, right? And that's what we're trying to do. Like, let's say, for example, here on the 1 hour chart for gold, you see we barely have any signals, barely. But if I go to Euro USD, we have more signals. And why is that? Well, because the box, right? The box, yeah, on the 1 hour chart is pleasable for more pleasable for Euro USD than gold. So yeah, there it is. Not two good sells over here that it called on the 1 hour for with these parameters, 25 and 120. It's really good for Euro USD on the 1 hour, but for gold, hardly any signals, right? Hardly any signals. Um, but yeah, I'll release this new update for you guys here early morning as I wrap it up, and then the Jibo. Um, let's see, Dr. Richard, do yes, 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 we do. You know, like for example, these parameters here are you technically have to change parameters for all of them depending on the time frame you're going to use it, right? Depending on the time frame you're going to use it. So Euro USD, like if I go to the Euro USD on the 5 minute chart, very rare, you're not going to see a signal because that 17 box on the Euro USD chart is very small compared to gold. You may have to go to I mean, Gmo is going to be giving us 5 pip stop losses. You got to go to a 5 pip and a 25 pip. And there you go. You see, now you start seeing the signals appear. And literally, guys, this is a 5 pip stop loss. It really is. Scenario. Let's see. And not yet, Dr. Latrice. That's the thing that that's basically the announcement that I'm gonna make right here. I need more eyes on this back testing. See here, I gave a signal here, and the stop loss is literally 10 pips. 10 pip stop loss. 10 pip stop loss, I was 20 pip reward, but it's there, right? It's there. But yeah, so the announcement that was kind of making all last week is this product will be Jibo will be part of the COC community. Nobody outside would get it except you guys, though, right? It won't be available until maybe early spring, right? Hopefully no later, like in the March sessions. However, though, right, I would like to have a group of people who are interested to get access to it early so we can back test certain things. All right, you know what? On the 1 hour time frame, Euro USD needs these parameters. Okay. I like these parameters. We can back test them and so forth. If you trade another pair, as long as it's not a Bitcoin or a US 30, uh, the reason why it doesn't work here yet is because of the pips. Now, if you're a big US 30 trader and NOS 30 indicator, and you can help me kind of measure the pips here, I can code them in and send them consistent. But you know what? I trade more GU. Okay, well, GU, the indicator works more consistent on the 15-minute time frame with these parameters right here, and we'll take note of them. And obviously, how do you back test it? Well, you kind of see what's blue, what's red, blue and neutral. If it's neutral, it lost. If it's blue, it got in the right direction. All right, you know what? It's too clunky here. Actually, look at all these signals they gave you guys. It's a lot of blue, more blue than the neutral color. And okay, that's not bad. So let me readjust a little bit the 10. Let's see how many pips we get there. Let's see. All right, so some disappeared. Let me do, let's say 20 and 35. See how less, see, there you go. So see, we literally just improved the quality of it. like that. You see that? We were what at 5 and 25. We got a lot of signals, but we also had a lot of neutral setups. So let me hit cancel. Yeah, so there he goes. So we went to what did we say, 20 and 35? There he goes. We got more quality setups. You can hold them a little bit longer. You'll lose more here and there, but again, though, you'll get a longer trade if you stick with it longer. And those are the little parameters that I want to create, like you just mentioned, like a little chart for them throughout the trees, right? We can start back testing those things for that. But and and you can use them on whatever time frame is best. I am going to create a little flyer for you guys. I mean, obviously the back testing group. If you want early access to this GPO, the SMT update, you guys, it's a free update, just like iPhone updates every month. Those updates are always included with the SMT. The GPO is a completely new system. If you want to be part of the back testing group, have early access to it as early as next week, this week coming up, excuse me. I can give you access to it. I'm still thinking about putting a price tag for it, but whatever price tag I put, guys, it'll be a lifetime access to it. You don't have to be part of the Yes or Yes Academy to get it anymore. You don't have to pay a monthly subscription for it. It'll just be a one-time payment to um, to get access. You'll have lifetime access for it, just like the SMT, and you get early access to help me back test. And once I update, I'll share in the group uh, that little flyer once it's ready. Okay, just to kind of support the coding work that I've done, and also to support a strategy that can help us all. Help me back test it, and you'll be part of that back testing group where we can help each other find a good strategy for each pair. And again, though, right, we won't be limited to gold. We have more eyes on the market, more opportunity. Let me quickly do the weekly recap on this, and we'll let you guys go. I do appreciate the attendance. Uh, and let's kick it off here for our. All right, we'll be done here in 5 minutes, guys. Weekly outlook for Goldie. Last month of the year. Our weekly time frame. Okay. How did this week close? All right, very bullish week. Closed above this candlestick. I mean, very interesting how price is still pumping up. But I think that's going to be his trajectory back to the top side. For the most part, gold has always been bullish the first quarter of the year. And it looks like it wants to respect that. All right, perfect. Here it is, 4 hour. Previous weekly low and high. We fib this. Previous week. Perfect. Could come back and retest the previous weekly high right there. I like that. That's about almost a 50% retracement. Yep, exactly 50% retracement. Okay, maybe come back. It still has to, it first has to beat the 23%. Okay. Previous week, 23%. Okay, let's see how it looks on the day. Yeah, maybe these highs there were getting in the way here. And again, I think that's to make it simple. I think that's for now. If we do go back up and take that high, um, we can get the pullback a lot stronger. But I would like for it to come down first and then go towards this previous weekly high, which is right at the extension. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Let's turn this on here. Again, uh, SMT is super bullish, super bullish. I think it the strategy, guys, it also works the same way on the 1 hour scale. Okay. See where we're in pullback phase? The moment we realigned on the 1 hour, okay, waiting for the pullback to the midline, and then it can take off. Okay, so long story short, right? As long as the 17 stays bullish, we look for entry anywhere around the midpoint. And right now it's looking like the 23% is a good area to consider as going upwards. Okay. So let's keep it simple. Let's do it. Like a nice little pullback back to this area, and then maybe back to the highs and the extensions. And then we'll see how price reaction there. Right. That would do it for today. Let me go ahead and wrap up the final tweaks there on the indicator. The indicator you have it pretty quickly. And then as long as also with those notes as well that I shared, I'll put on the WhatsApp. Nothing too formal just yet, but we'll put it there. We'll pin the message, and then the Gbo I'll also give you guys an offer on that. Appreciate everybody's time. We will see you guys next week, and until the next one. Thank you. My pleasure, KG. Nico, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tree, for the questions. Thank you, Dan, for the questions. Prachi, thank you, guys. David, good to hear, brother. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now.